Reframing Mindset podcast, where I clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day.
Okay, welcome back to Reframe Mindset Podcast. And it's also a talk not practice, where you go abroad, whatever that's old saying, where I'm from, and it's like one of those things, where that is the next part of freedom, and I ask it, you're coming out of poverty and all these stuff and all these things. And what you realize is that one aspects of being poor. And I say the fight for freedom is a long fight. Because there are many aspects. The next aspect of being poor influence. When you're poor, you have little influence. Can do little things. Why is Queen of England more powerful than someone else? Did now king of England, and the king influence, and what happened is that they established values that they live by, and those values throughout time. Monarch and all those stuff has been around for years and stuff. Even in today's time, kind of relevant, even though they kind of weak out, but it's still relevant. The values they have. Is that they did a start out, this poor monarch, and that one person decide that they're gonna build some values, and then put it in below their personal values, eventually it turned into this big thing where there's a big monarch and other stuff that rules so many places. That's right. And the reason why they had that people knowing that history, and they still so relevant today. The core values, never actually the core values actually never was lost. Always try to be passed on, and then build upon. So that's the next part. Of freedom where you actually know, practice at home. You have practice your values. No. And that means a lot of stuff. Religion. You're Christians and all those stuff. Are Muslim. One of the phases is that when you're born into a family, you're coming from a history, or your family choose Muslim or whatever. Boom. So you go to the mosque or the church and all those stuff, and you learn their values. So they have their brothers, and you grow attached to this value. When you're older, and your family pass and all those values that they teach becomes questionable. Because what if John 3 verse 16 says, you believe in me, you have everlasting life. Why did my grandmother die? No, those stuff. It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. So all those things, and it doesn't make sense. In the sense that and you're still here. Boom, you wake up. The world move. Why did Jesus say that his word is still relevant today? Why? Because is that happening that you meet my grandmother her years of developing her our values at home. Her value. So what happens that boom I came that and I see the end. I didn't see the end. I didn't see the there's a point in time where she wasn't an avid Christian and she was someone else. And then eventually she gave her life to God. So before then various changes that goes on the values are instilled. And then that's the thing that's the thing in this stage cursing is bad. Cursing bad words and is seen as negative. Why is it? Could you tell me why? That's the I tried not to curse at the same time. If you were to ask why is cursing, I can give you some word in the sense. One of the things is that when you see people curse a lot, their language and it's something that makes sense, and it makes sense. The language is very primitive. Where water is good, but what if I give you water every minute? You're just giving you water. Eventually you will die. Through every minute I'll give you water. So that's the thing about that's the primitive why cursing is terrible. That's basically the only word. Like boom, if you only talk about woman, there's nothing wrong in acknowledging the fact that you're a woman and all that stuff. But if every minute I'm coming around, the only thing you can say this and that about woman that shows that have very insecure about woman. You generally don't know how these are in it. Thing is that you don't have the ability to be amateur. You don't have the ability to say I don't understand. I have my idea ways. It will take your time when they come in. They have to sit down. Come in and see my world. Then I take time to see their world and their correlate. But what happens is that you want to come in and be a pro. You want to come in. The girls, man, and all those stuff. What happens is that you go through the process. All these one, Solomon and all those stuff. That's right. Ecclesiastes in the Bible. God gave him wisdom. All these women and all those stuff. And he says vanity. Why? Because what? He may not have time to experience the real love of a woman. But he actually did experience Song of Songs. Song of Songs. That's the difference between quality versus quantity. Many women taking the time to learn quality. So cursing, it may not be bad, the word, but the vocabulary, but not know why. If you don't know why, the person who is cursing, they can't tell me why. It's not a bad word. I can't tell you why. You shouldn't. So what happens that you have this bad relation, and all that. So what happens that you're influenced, and you don't even know what you're being influenced. That's the thing where your values are supposed to be. You don't have to be complex as religion and all. Can be certain simple things where I don't eat this. Why? Because I'm allergic to it. So when you're traveling and all that stuff, if food have this in it, I shouldn't eat it. I could always ask, hey, does this include it? easily. That could save you a lot of money. That could save you a lot of money. Enjoy your experience of travel better. Those are simple habits you can practice at home, that and then knowing that and then boom, you do it abroad. Same thing. Simple stuff and get complex and what happens that as you make money and more stuff, and basically you have more time to explore different stuff. Traveling can be a lot. Traveling is the world can be a lot, but you have to boost our plan. At the same time, you can't. If you go to a different country, you're going into their culture, and you're going into their culture, and their culture has been around. So the thing is that boom, you come back different. Then you go to a country for a few months, and you're different. And you different. What happens that other country influence you. What happens that because of their influence, your future generation will have that influence of that previous country, and that's how Jamaica's out of Jamaica people come around here, have all these different identities. Anything about it is that the fight of Africa is the true one. It can be true. But the thing about it is that you having your values established when you go different places and stuff. You say you want to be a Christian and all those religion. Every religion are relevant. You can't tell me why. You can't tell me why. It don't make sense. Push our influence. I give my point of view. Because as long as I'm still learning. So all the stuff are relevant to it. I can give you the answer to your point. After a while, something was coming. The whole answer changed. It's like, boom. It's like, boom. In this country, bad is bad because of this. And then boom, you go to the country where that bad word was originated. And then you find out, this word was not bad at all. It's just that. Oh my God, it was incorrect. And also, just like ignorant. Versus arrogant. Ignorant is used incorrectly in so many places. And where I'm from, ignorant has this. So when it's used correctly, it's an insult. It's an insult. But the thing about it is that you ignorant. But that's the thing where you're looking at a person's end. So you boom, it's fast forward to it. I'm 90. When I'm 90 now, all the 80 plus, all the knowledge that I garnered and all those stuff. It's 2 years. It's 2 years upon years, and I'm giving you some stuff. That's why I go to school. That's why I go to school. And learn about years upon years. Basically, research and all those the simple thing of that simple Bible verse. If you believe in God's Son, you have eternal life. You realize that that verse come way down in the New Testament. Is that way down in the New Testament? Is cover chapter, but look at the Bible as a whole. The Bible as a whole. It actually comes in. You have to go to the whole of the Old Testament. Then start the New Testament. Then you'll be John. Then you'll tell John that. Tell you that. So it's like a whole bunch of people. A whole bunch of failures. A whole bunch of failures before you meet a man that said, witnessed Jesus. And he said, and if you just believe in the only begotten Son, you have eternal life. But his years of failure to give you that one line. His years of failure to give you that one line. And that one line has been the relevant Christianity relevant for so many years. That one line. That's the thing. And that's the thing. God has established values and it works. And that's the same thing, boom. And that's the same thing, boom. You have your values. And what happens is that you have to take the time to actually establish your values, and then when you come into our presence, that's the reason why. Try to establish your. If you come into your space, and all those stuff, you can actually explain your point. They kind of see your point. They kind of see your point of view better, and then you just clear up all the other misconceptions. You see things it makes sense. If something refute, they're trying to refute a point. They just look at it and be like, bro, I can give you my point of view. This is my point of view. This could be right, could be wrong. Or just that this is the point of view. It's like old situation. You party, parties and trying to get stable, better party experience. And it's like you've been bashing, party and all those stuff and not seeing the bigger picture. If I get my money right and all those parties again, I can go to I can have better dreams. I can all those stuff. You basically having a low. It's like boom, I left university. And I'm going back to the university. Party with the young. 20 going back to party with the young. I could get my money right and go to more exclusive parties with people mind and all those stuff. It's like that's the difference. Establishing your values is a lot of changes over time. It could be that you're stopping to do this for a moment because I'm get a better experience. I stop doing gaming. Gaming is basically. The level that I was gaming was very unstable. I was not feeling it. I was feeling when I was doing it. And all those don't like gaming. At that level, it was not benefiting me. Doing more bad than. So boom. Put it down for a while. And then boom, I'm working now. Eventually I could rest and get back this and get back better game and have a better experience and all those stuff. But in the short term, you're bashing, and that's the just like you're respecting us, you're working to establish your career. Other people know you for something. So when it comes to your career, you're seeing the things that you don't respect it. You don't respect it, and it's like, why? Because what happens that you did separate your career from your career from. So when it's time for you to say, this is this thing. they're not taking it serious. They're not taking it serious. So it's one of those things. When that happens, it's not something to say it's negative or all those stuff. But it's like establishing your values. Establishing your values. So when it comes, you can always curse and try to wash and try to prove your point. Try to prove your point. I can't say. But take the time after it. Show it. You see the person. You see the person. It just walk past. It just walk past. It'll make no sense. You can't see it in there. They won't get it. They won't get it. They won't get it. Just move on. You know, I want to take the time to understand. They can actually do it. It's like it does one of those episodes where traveling. The words are bad. Traveling become normal. You're going to different countries. Different values. It's important to have established values. Nothing established by no and all those. When because what happens, you'll be judged. Regardless. You're in a certain path and all those stuff. You'll be judged regardless. And what happens? You're not strong enough in your moral, your vision. You basically do something like boom, they judge it for your pants. You know that you're in this path. I'm stacking up money. So I can actually be in a better situation. Because you're being judged and all those stuff for that pants. You end up spend money over your pants. And then you're broke. But you look better. You're not being judged for your pants. Or you're broke. You don't want to see the bigger picture. So that's one of the things where establishing your values is a lot of things. It's knowing when to stop doing certain things, knowing why certain things is bad or not bad. It's a lot of things. So just that when you're trying to go to this new experience now. Because that's the thing. Because establish your value, and then but when you travel now, all those values that you build, boom, just get thrown out. Because what? You're going to a new country. And what do I mean by that? Oh, you establish your value. Driving on the left side of the road is norm and all those stuff. Go to a country now you're driving right. That is the norm. Everything you believe no wrong. No, it's not wrong. It's just that. Is the relevance. That is the normal in that country. But what happens if you do not establish notion of knowing your values and know what's right in your area. When you go to a different area, you're going across. Why do you have the right and all this stuff and all this cursing and all those stuff, not knowing that, bro, this is not my country, this is their roots. I just abide by their rules and enjoy the experience. Then come home. When you come home, then you can reflect and then be like, okay, this is why this is. So when I go back there again, boom, they eventually can influence the change. Driving on the better and they boom. Eventually everybody start driving like But if you basically don't, so that's the complex thing about. So establishing your values at home when you're home. You're establishing your core values. And what happens that when you start to travel, all those core values can be shaken and all those stuff. But you need to have something, foundational to stand on when you actually start going. You know exactly what. You know exactly where you're traveling. When you travel, all those notions are around. Then you can actually start educated change. But what happens is that if you don't have any values, what happens to another country, they tell you this is bad, this is good, and then boom, you come back here, this is bad. I don't even know why. I don't know that I travel for the first time. Why it's bad. But But no, that's another thing. You have to just basically take your time, establish, and this is for people now coming up. And never traveled before, and I never traveled before. Boom. Yo, if you never travel before, eventually, if you live long enough, one day you will. Because traveling isn't, and the process is tedious and all this. So that is not cheap. So have establishing your values is one of those good things. That's why when younger and you're traveling for the first time, they tell you, oh, don't practice and all those colors are built up for their time of travel. So that means you go there, exactly what and what and all those things. So it's like yo. Is just one of those things. Practice at home. But to practice abroad. Anything about practice at home. Practice at home before you go out there. A lot of that. Establishing certain values. When you go over there, you're more respected. You know when you come back. Oh my God, bro, that calling guy was pretty competent. It's not as bad as that's one of those things. Boom. You're growing up, and there were pre-conceived notions when you become an adult. I don't know anything about this years, next 20 years. When to be tested and what is that, you have to be malleable in the sense that you have to establish an idea, but knowing that, my ideas could be right at a certain level. They're wrong. Each word, but you have to be open-minded and stuff. So that's basically for this episode. Thank you for listening for the next episode.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter @ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.